let's also have a look at this before we really get into gaming for the day. So Path of Exile 2 came out on Friday. It is now Tuesday. They released these patch notes in the evening yesterday. It's some really astute heads up stuff. They they released the game. It's out over the weekend. They collect feedback and they make changes insta. Like, great job. Great job. We are going to play the video game today. I'm very excited, but I do want to go over these patch notes with you guys. Let's jump right into it because we can talk about them a little bit later or as we go. Anyway, hi everyone. The launch weekend has been a blast. We've really enjoyed seeing all of you get your hands on the game and finally try out the project we have been working on for so long. But now that the launch this weekend is over, it's time for us to look at the feedback and make some changes. There are lots more things coming. The list in this post are some of the things we felt needed to be more urgently addressed. Some of these changes have already been deployed without a realm restart, but others will be deployed in an upcoming patch. Okay, so first things first is dodge roll changes. A lot of players have expressed frustration about being trapped in by monsters. Imagine not using Leap Slam. While it is intended that monsters are able to trap and kill you, we felt that the frequency of this was a little too high. So what they did was, we will be deploying the following changes in an upcoming patch. Player size is now set to 0 units, while dodge rolling instead of 1 unit. Some smaller monsters can now be pushed while dodging, or dodge rolling. This includes monsters such as the Adorned, Beetles, and Keth. I know exactly what they're talking about. This should result in getting trapped less often. Note that you still can be trapped. A player size of a 0 can still not phase through the monsters, but it can get through even the smallest gap between them. Okay, that's cool. I know exactly what Beetles are talking about. But yeah, Rolling Slam is good. Leap Slam can definitely get you out of there. And if you're struggling with getting stunned on Leap Slam, you can just take the little thing that makes you 200% more stun threshold while using that skill, and you can get the heck out of dodge, right? I think using that early on is good. Now I'm not using that, but I also have a tremendous amount of stun threshold, so I think we're good. That's pretty cool though, huh? And I like how you can slide through the smallest gap between monsters, but you can't just phase through them. That's cool. That's good stuff. All right. So we have checkpoint changes. A lot of players have been reporting that it can be tedious to need to retread areas of maps in order to get back to objectives that they already have found. I can relate to that. That's not that big of a deal, but I mean, if they want to address it, sure. That's fine. We will be deploying the following change in an upcoming patch. Clicking on a checkpoint will allow you to teleport to other checkpoints in the area that are explored on your minimap. Checkpoints have been added to all entrances and exit of zones to allow for teleportation. That's cool. A checkpoint has been added to the midpoint of the first Dreadnought area. Okay. That is one of the coolest levels, by the way, fighting on the Dreadnought. That is so awesome. I still think I mean, spoiler, but the boss doing his like sword slice to change the arena, that's so sick. So sick. We'll be making further adjustments to checkpoint positions as we continue to gather feedback. Cool. Item changes. I mean, that's pretty nice, isn't it? To be able to zip around the map. So, you know, if you're having to backtrack, because there's sometimes I had to backtrack, like yesterday. We were in the Machinarium or whatever, and I think that's what it was, getting the soul cores, and I was one place and I ported back to town so I get to the waypoint to walk to where I needed to go faster, and then it made me drop my soul core, so I had to go back anyway. It was like, okay, dude. But it's like, I don't really find the walking to be that big of a deal because I just jump everywhere anyway. Jump roll, but still, that's fine. That's fine. Making it a little bit more traversable, making it smoother, that's fine. That's good. That's good. That's heads up stuff. Item changes. One of the major problems that players have been experiencing is feeling that the game is not rewarding enough. So early game is like very ruthless mode. You're gonna get like very like dirt gear and have to make it work, which I think is actually really fun. I think that can maybe scare away new players because it's like the most difficult like at the beginning, and then in the middle it gets like faster, and then maybe in the end game it gets more difficult again, but we'll see. But your character just scales in power like crazy, but people might struggle in that early part of the game, which I think is still good, but I don't want it to turn people off. Anyway, this is an area that we have to be very careful when adjusting because it's very hard to reduce drops if we increase them by too much. Nobody ever wants to get less loot, right? Nobody ever wants to have drops nerfed, so they're being very careful about that, and I think that's smart. We have identified a few key areas that we believe will significantly improve the experience that players are having. Those being rare monster changes. We felt that rare monsters were not rewarding enough. This didn't affect the campaign as much because there are more unique bosses, increasing the overall amount of drops, but it's especially noticeable when playing in the end game where unique monsters are less common. So here's the thing, they're making changes to content that a lot of people aren't even there yet. I mean, I've been playing, well, like 40 plus hours since launch, and I'm not even to end game yet. Maybe I'm just slow and bad, but like, they're just like, hey, we're gonna fix this even if you guys aren't like dealing with it right now. That's cool. That's awesome. So, in particular, the reward that you were getting for the increased difficulty of rares wasn't lining up. We have deployed the following changes. Rarity bonus per rare mod has been doubled, 10% quantity bonus per rare mod, and increase the chance of rare monsters inherently having more modifiers as you progress the end game. That's sick. I mean, it's fun fighting bosses, but it's also fun having like strong mobs to test your build against as you go, and to make sure that those strong mobs that challenge you also give you good loot is excellent. Yeah, Crip ran like 13 maps and got nothing. Yeah, it's like, so they're changing it. That's awesome. Heads up, and they're changing it before most of the people get there and rage about it, right? So they're like, hey, we noticed that some of the Omega grinders aren't getting as much loot, so we're gonna fix that like over the weekend of launch, and then the patch notes come out, right? I mean, maybe they didn't fix it yet, but they're working on it. Like, yeah. When are these changes being deployed? Sorry, maybe it's not done yet, but this is the plan. These changes will cause rare monster rewards to naturally scale up as you get to higher levels because the number of mods a monster can have increases throughout the campaign and into the end game. In addition, many other forms of map juicing will indirectly cause rare, I like how that's the official term, map juicing, cause rare monsters to have more mods as well, increasing the rewards of these other mechanics too. Also note the change below to make sure each map has a minimum number of rares will also increase the average number of rare mods, thus increasing drops further. It's pretty dang cool. They're live? Yeah, so I exited out of my game and reloaded to try to get the patch. I just didn't know if all of this was in yet. That's awesome. Like, for example, I wasn't able to teleport between checkpoints last night, but if the loot is in, that's excellent, because I'm almost there. We're like in the second half of Act 3. We're getting to endgame soon. It's about to go down. It's about to go down. It's gonna be awesome. Currency changes. This is cool too. We felt players were not getting enough of certain currency either in the early game or to sustain adding mods to maps. Interesting. So it's end game and early game stuff. We have deployed the following changes. Regal orb drop rates increased about 40%. Yeah, I guess these things where it's just like cranking up numbers, right, can be done more quickly. That's good. People are gonna love this. They're gonna love this. And hello, Roland on YouTube. Regal orb drop rates increased about 40%. People are gonna like that. But hey, we can all say that we were playing right off the bat where we had to kill Act 1 with blue gear on back in my day. You know, disenchanting of 6 mod rares will give 2 regal shards instead of just 1. Lesser jeweler orbs drop rates increase around 33%, so you'll be able to add mods to your skills, or add a socket to your skills more easily, which is great. And I'm thinking that hopefully that means that me getting my like big drop was a good timing, but I don't know. I think the price is going to go down on lesser jeweler's orbs, so whatever. Anyway, that's awesome. You're going to be able to expand your gear, which is great. Y'all had blue gear? I was doing it with no gear at all. Yeah, exactly. Reduce the drop rate of chaos orbs slightly as they are less valued, and so that it doesn't consume so much of their rare currency drop pool. This causes currency such as exalted orbs to increase somewhat, which is great. Gem Cutter's Prisms, I have not seen a single one of these. Drop rates increased by 500%. And Gem Cutter's Prisms now increase the quality on gems by 5%. That's so sick. Getting all your gems that you like to 5% quality, or to max quality, like 25% quality. What am I saying? 20% quality, I think is what it is. What if you could just increase it forever like Diablo 3? Oh my gosh. That'd be insane. But yes, Gem Cutter's Prisms dropping more frequently and being more effective is awesome. I have not used those yet, but adding quality to gems is a big deal in PoE 1. And that's going to be like a good grind. Me too, Hans. Me too. Me too, bro. Please link build. Oh, I got you, man. We're going to be uploading it. It's uploading right now, as a matter of fact. It'll be live soon. I got you, bro. So we usually start our day off with a build update, so always stay tuned for that one. Map mod changes. Like with rares, we felt that players were not being rewarded enough for the difficulty that was being added by map mods. We have significantly increased the value of all prefix map mods. We have changed all map prefix mods, but some example changes that we have deployed are: rarity mods have been increased by 2.5%. Quantity mods have had extra rarity added to them. This is now in a later patch. Okay. We removed the bottom tier of some mods. Okay. And you are much more likely to roll modifiers that affect drops or pack size rather than useful mods. That's cool. I like that. In addition, it has been identified that some areas are not being affected by the increased number of monster packs mod as they should be. We will be fixing these maps to work correctly in a later patch. Okay, cool. This is a lot of stuff that I'm looking forward to because we haven't been to the end game yet, but we're almost there. This is great. They're just fixing it before I get there. Thank you guys. Unlucky drop protection. One of the major issues we have identified are outlier unlucky drops. A single unique boss dropping badly, especially early on, can significantly affect your character. We have deployed the following changes. No more than 50% of a unique monster's drops can be gold. Act bosses and map bosses will always drop at least one rare. The first of these changes is more significant than it first appears because players can't see the difference between normal and rare gold piles. You will get more equipment and currency items, which can take more advantage of the rarity increases that unique monsters provide. Cool. Sounds good. And click to move. I'm wondering if this fixes my leap slam thing. This is actually a huge deal. I can't tell. I think so. There was an issue where the move only command was name locking. This would often result in your character confusingly attacking in an unexpected direction while holding down this action. We have deployed the following change. Move only, no longer name locks. That could be huge. That could be huge because I was definitely finding the situation where I would be running away from a mob, leap slamming to get away from him, and it would jump back on top of the mob. And it was definitely not good when you are running away from Doriani doing his gigantic one-shot slam, and you're running away from him, and you're going to leap slam near the end to get the distance, and then you leap slap back on top of him, and he just drops the hammer on you. That's good that they fixed that before the cruel fight against that guy, although I am probably just going to one-shot his robot. But anyway, that could potentially be very, very good. Here's the hoping. And then endgame maps. A concern for players in endgame maps is accidentally missing rare monsters. In addition, many maps did not have the number of rare monsters that they should have had. We will be making the following changes in an upcoming patch. Okay, so not yet, but upcoming. Okay. Rare monsters now appear on the minimap when there are 200 monsters remaining instead of 50. Just show them all the time. I like that. Just put them on the map all the time. And many maps have had additional rare monsters added to them to make sure that there are a minimum number in every map type. Over the coming weeks, we will be continuing to work on map layouts and monster density issues in maps. In conclusion, we'll be posting patch notes for these changes when they're deployed. For a full list of what's just been deployed, check out the patch notes here. Okay, well, we just read that. It's all good. That looks great. Some very attentive heads-up changes to make the early game feel a little bit better, to make the just gameplay feel better with dodge roll, make it feel better by navigating maps, get more loot, get better loot, get more of the ability to craft your own loot, and make maps more rewarding and more easy to navigate, and more rare monsters, and don't jump into one-shots. Excellent. Yeah, so just buffing some stuff, but they are being careful not to overbuff drops because, like they said, they don't want to have to nerf drops because that makes people really sad, and probably them sad too. But this looks great. Again, these are some attentive heads up, in tune with the situation changes, which means that they're paying attention and they're able to deploy these things quickly because the game came out on Friday and these patch notes dropped Monday night. So shout outs to GGG. Keep pumping. I'm loving PoE 2, and I think we can finally play the video game now that we've done our build update and the patch note review. This is good stuff, especially because it's all about Endgame, which we are rapidly approaching. Let's get to work. GG. GGG.